Welcome back. Donna Parsons here. And today we're going to be doing pivot tables. Now I have a lesson that is in the description that you're more than welcome to download and follow along with me. If you don't want to download it, then just follow along, or I do have my email address. I'd be happy to email the lesson directly to you. So let's begin. So make sure, if you are downloading it, make sure that in the bottom left-hand corner that you have Pivot 1 sheet selected to do this lesson. We want to make sure that before we start doing a pivot table, let's figure out what information we want to extract out of this data. So for example, we have the marketing department, the warehouse department, main office. So we want a summary or sum of the sales of each individual department. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to left click your mouse in the table, anywhere within the table. It just makes life a lot easier if you just do this first step. You're going to come up to the Insert tab across the top to the right of the home, and all the way on the left-hand side, you have a table section, and you want to select the one that says Pivot Table. And you're just going to left click on the icon. Automatically, the pivot table from range appears, and the pivot table range, because you are inside the table, has A1 through G33. So if we scroll down, you can see that it is selected, and we have a marquee that is surrounding the pivot table. New worksheet radio button is selected. We want to make sure that we have that selected, and we want to go ahead and click OK. Now what appears when you open up to the pivot table section here, down at the bottom left hand corner it says sheet 1. To the right of it is the data that we want to extract, so you haven't lost your data. So I'm going to left click back on sheet 1, and we can rename that in a minute. On the left hand side we have what is called the report. On the right hand side we have something called pivot table fields. So for example, if I left click in the middle of this sheet, watch what happens. On the right hand side, pivot table fields goes away. When I left click back over on the left hand side into the pivot table report area, the pivot table fields reappear. So it's really important to make sure that you are selected in the pivot table report so that you can utilize the fields on the right side. So we are going to extract the data. So we want to know the department names, and let's take a look at the department names are already entered in alphabetical order there. And we want to know the salaries for each individual department. So by left clicking my mouse and putting a little checkbox in department and salary, it automatically gave me the sum of each department's salary. That is how easy a pivot table is. If we wanted to add, for example, shifts, how many shifts we have for each department, we can go ahead and do that. If we want to deselect that, we can. There's another way of showing this report. Let's just say we don't want to do it in columns, that we want to do it in rows. So if you come down to the bottom right-hand corner, I have in the rows section, underneath that, it automatically put the department in rows. And now what I want to do is I want to put my mouse directly on the word department, and I want to drag it up to columns and release, and you can see how you've changed what the report looks like. If you don't like that way it is, you can always just hold your left mouse button down and you can drag and drop it back to where it was. You can also, for example, let's look at the last name, and now you can see everybody that is in each department and what their salaries are, a summary. I hope you enjoyed this quick short lesson in pivot tables. Thank you for your time, and if you like what I have to say, subscribe. And also, if there's a lesson that you would like me to cover, by all means, leave it in the comment section. Peace out.